I say vinyl because mostly things are vinyl. Not all, we'll come to that. But adhesive vinyl is a category in latex that is probably the thing people do most. There's a pretty wide selection of types of adhesive vinyls. And I want to go over some of the distinctions so you understand what they are and what they're for. Just sort of a general overview of this media category and then things latex can print on. The thing you're most commonly going to do is some kind of decal. A decal can be put onto a substrate. A decal can be punched out and put on anything you want. Generally, for an inexpensive decal, you're looking at a monomeric or polymeric vinyl. Monomeric is your sort of everyday, inexpensive decal type vinyl that you cut into 18 by 24s and then mount to Coroplast and make into yard signs. There's all different types of it. I mean, there's probably 100 brands on the United States market, and they're all pretty similar to one another. They may have a little different liners. You know, this Oracal is a typical example, the 3640. Print's beautiful. We have this on the media locator. You got the Avery 2930. These are inexpensive, easily available 3M IJ160 calendared vinyls. Okay, these have a wide number of uses. Polymeric is sort of a little step up. Sometimes it's called intermediate vinyl, and it usually has a little bit of a longer outdoor profile to it. But both monomeric and polymeric kind of fall into the general category, and it's all your decals and print and cuts. Now, with vinyl on a Latex 300, you can print starting, in my opinion, at 6-pass. I get very good results on adhesive vinyl at 6-pass, give or take 80 and in some cases 90% ink. So you have a fast 245 square feet an hour on a 360, printing at a nice quality, 1200 DPI, 12 picoliter drop, plenty of ink saturation, highly saleable prints. And this is an example of a 6-pass on the 3M vinyl. Looks great. Put that right on a take-up roll. No need to wait, no need to gas off, no need to dry. It comes off the printer completely dry, put it on a take-up roll. 245 square feet an hour, looks great. No banding lines, nothing. Now, as you go up in the cost of vinyl, you may find that you want to put a little more ink down. But your typical calendared vinyl is on the media locator. There's got to be like 50 of them on there. Everybody's up there. 3M, Avery, Hexus, Oracal, Arlon. Calendared vinyl is every place. It's ubiquitous. Latex print's beautiful on it. Most calendared vinyl, I'm probably going to run 6-pass or 8-pass. Occasionally a 10, but usually 6 and 8, somewhere between 80 and 100% density. All of our print and cut process is really directed at this kind of vinyl. You know, here's an example that was printed, and then it goes over to our GravTech. The GravTech does a beautiful job. It perfs out parts of it. This is all kiss cut. Because we're running at much lower temperatures in the past and we're faster, and it's going through with a lot more efficiency, these are very stable, they're nice and flat, and the accuracy that we get on the typical print and cut and the kiss cut, excellent. Excellent all the way across the board. It's a much better system than doing a print then cut, because we're doing both at the same time. And most of this, that's your decal vinyl. Now, taking a step up, cast vinyl. A cast vinyl is where things get a little different. Cast vinyl is primarily for things like vehicle wraps, boat wraps, fleet wraps. This is going to be highly contourable. It's usually quite thin, say a 2 mil or a 2.5 or a 3 mil. Cast vinyl is your long-term outdoor decal, but it's also wraps. Like when you see a vehicle that's wrapped, that's a cast vinyl. You only want to buy cast vinyl when you're doing cast vinyl appropriate things. Like here's an Avery 1005. This is widely used for vehicle wraps. Another very well-known vehicle wrap material is the 3M IJ180. This is also widely used for vehicle wraps. Latex print's beautiful on these. In fact, we have a 6-year MCS warranty with 3M for the latex printers. It was 5, now it's gone up to 6 after further testing. That's an excellent outdoor durability. Now those are all going to require a cast laminate. They go in a system. What's great about latex is you don't have wait times, gas off, you can print them immediately. But with a cast vinyl, I'm going to run a little slower and I'm going to put some more ink down. You have different ink densities with a latex, and you can choose. In a lot of cases, I might have a 3M IJ180 that'll have several different settings for the modes. But I'm always going to have one that's going to be 10 pass or 12 pass running 110 or 120% density. The reason why is, again, as the cost of something goes up, usually the quality sensitivity goes up. With cast vinyl, you're more likely to see Pantone call out. Customer says, I want to see 185 red, or I want to see this color orange. Well, in order to have a chance at really hitting those colors right, you need to make sure you have enough density. So you want to run with 110 or 120% density. That's usually how I run cast vinyl. Cast vinyl is going to be laminated, it's a system, and then it's going to be put usually on a vehicle wrap or a fleet wrap. Now there's also systems out there that is not vinyl anymore. 3M, for example, makes an Envision film called the 480. The 480 is great for vehicle wraps. It's their absolute top of the line. Now that's PVC free. They're focusing on both the quality and the environmental footprint. The PVC free 480 is a different material than traditional PVC vinyl. Very nice. A lot of my best friends and the big wrap people that do it, very, very impressed with it. It works fantastic. And that's a non-vinyl product. You're going to see a great deal more of that. In a lot of different categories and industries that we're working towards a PVC-free product because it has a much better environmental footprint, and if you can make an equal product in quality, it's going to be highly desirable. Now another category, this is all your reflectives. This is sort of engineering grade, and we've run all of this. Now with stuff like this, you're not going to be able to do a profile because the spectrophotometer is not going to be able to read something with this sort of very uneven or silvery textures. So what I usually do is I take an existing cast vinyl profile or preset, and then I clone it and I make whatever adjustments I need. Usually that works very well. And these are your various 3M and to a certain extent Avery and Oracal reflective self-adhesive vinyl. This is used for reflective outdoor signage. Now, another category is your high-intensity prismatics. I've called this mystery high-intensity prismatic. I kind of know what it is. But this is sold widely through, I know 3M has many versions of this, Avery, and then also Oracal. This is a high-intensity reflective film. We're working diligently on offering a full warranty and everything else on this. It should be out shortly. This is a product for us that we think has a big future. It prints beautiful. When I printed and tested this, particularly the black, I set all my blacks on my rips to be pure hues. That is, when I send black to the latex printer, I'm using black only. So in Illustrator, I build 000 Then in Onyx, I have it set for pure hues. So when I send that vector file over, Onyx sees it and says, I have a pure hue selection. I'm only going to use black to print this. I get such a rich black by using black only, I don't need CMY to blend to compensate to add richness. The black stands on its own. It's going to give you sharper text with richer black. Very nice read on this. Printing orange and black or printing black on orange high-intensity prismatic, very successful with a latex printer. And then the next category is a little different. And I want to bring it up because it's been a source of constant questions. And that is static cling. Now this is a Catalina static cling. You can print very successfully on static clings. Static cling is not quite like adhesive vinyl. It's a little bit different. The characteristics are a little different. Even though it looks like adhesive vinyl, it has a little different composition. Probably the widest static cling that I use all the time is General Formulations. I use their white and I use their clear. Both work beautifully. Both of those are highly compatible with latex. Usually I'm looking at 10 or 12 pass, 100 to 120% ink, probably 215 degrees, 220 degrees Fahrenheit. I bring the temperature down a little bit on cling. Now this Catalina and also the FlexCon version, they run fine, but you have a much smaller sweet spot. The cling is actually real nice, but the liner and the cling are working at a little different purposes. It's a heavy paper liner. On the bigger latex, this works great, but it has a different paper path on the smaller latex, on the 300 series. So with this, what happens is the paper tends to kind of come up right in the center. It forms a little pocket. So you have to use more vacuum, less heat, and it's a little slower than the general formulations. But if you're careful and you bring the ink back, you can get a very nice looking print. But it is going to be a little slower than in the general formulations. But I like the cling a great deal. It's a very nice product. And that's true of the Catalina as well as the FlexCon. Now there may be many other variations because this kind of material is the material plus the liner. And each of them have their own characteristics. You might change the liner on this just a little bit and presto, everything runs just completely beautiful and I can increase my speed. But static cling does work. When printing on a white cling, you pretty much put a normal front load ink level, let's say 100% density. But if you're printing on a clear cling, that's ultimately going to go into a window, and that window may take the color back. So you may have to put a higher ink load on for the clear. Because when you print it, traditionally what you would do is reverse print it, peel it away, put it on the inside of the window. From what I have discovered with clings, especially white, you can't print this and then put the inked side in the window. This ink interferes with the cling's ability to hold and it tends to fall back out again. Now that may change, but right now most of the tests we've done seem to indicate that's the case. However, with our clings, the scratch resistance is so good on these. It's such an excellent scratch resistance proposition that we feel with a lot of clings, as is, you have very good scratch resistance even if it sits on the outside. I have a couple sitting outside at a friend of mine's restaurant, and they've been out in the outside window for quite a while now, and they look very good. So I want to let you know about cling. You can certainly do it. It is not at this time, alas, on the media locator. We are working on that.